which you are in denial phase. और मेरे तो हो ही नहीं सकती बीमारी, कुछ प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं इधर, तो बीमारी कैसे? Because we are all in a denial phase. We think that हमें नहीं हो सकती, दूसरे को हो सकती. So please get your eyes open. A big epidemic is on the way. In the next 15 years, the proportion will be much higher.
An often overlooked topic, which is lifestyle related diseases and their impact on us. As we navigate different phases of life, it is very important to understand that how these conditions impact our daily life, and especially menopausal or menopausal. It's very crucial to understand all this. And it's an honor to introduce Dr. Saify Arsiwala, a renowned cardiac surgeon with over 35 years of experience, international expertise, and a deep focus on lifestyle diseases. Having delivered over 500 plus health talks across Rajasthan, he brings invaluable practical insights to this conversation.
How will you assess your eye? You should go by body shape and weight and number of penicillins daily. Or as far as first is concerned, you will buy 90% confident. Take a care of proper body shape. They are posky overweight. That's why I'm trying to tell you that this pandemic has already started. Number of penicillins beats you accept. That's why we eat to make pets. What should be the ideal weight? And then you would tell. Ideal weight is when your growth phase lower, say by the age of 22, a growth phase lower. That's why you don't put on fat. That's a lean mass in your body. Once that growth is over, then whatever you eat gets converted into fats because your body is already grown. So extra food will get deposited into fat, and that's how you gain weight. So ideal weight to be is somebody who is in their early 20s, and that's it. Like if she is whatever weight she is now, if she keep that weight for the rest of her life, she should be upright. So this I have already said. Shape of the body is very important. So males में odd belly तो they have some disease because what a pot belly that itself is the respect. So अगर पेट आगे है तो means you have got a lot of fat inside your body. That's why that base has come out. Liver, kidney, everything is having part of intestines. We have 9 liters of intestine, and that 9 liters of intestine is surrounded by fat. तो ते पेट में कैसा रहेगा आपको बाहर ही आएगा. So next ये I2 waist ratio. If your height is 70 inches, your waist should not exceed 35 inches. Simple calculation. Pant size should be less than 30 kg. You go home at midday. Another way is to know is the height in centimeters minus 100. Whatever, I see I am 172. So minus 100, my weight should be less than 70. This is a simple way. And that's why we are called thin fan ही. So हमारा पेड़ आगे होता है बाकी. So types of obesity I've already described. It's clear. There's the subcutaneous fat which is required for many normal physiological purposes. This is non-fat, visceral fat. We don't want too much of visceral fat. Then fatty liver. This was first discovered in 80s. Most of the fatty liver was attributed to alcohol. That was called as alcohol fatty liver disease. And nowadays, we see in young children, there is same effect as alcohol produces on the liver, the same effect that is called a non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And why this? And there's no difference between the two. The children and the youngsters are not alcoholic. Still they have a fatty liver. When I put on weight, I had a fatty liver grade 1. And that was a warning sign for me that I am heading towards diabetes and maybe towards work disease. So I took all my precaution. Now I go very practical. तो this is one thing you should get your ultrasound done regular. तो मेन रीजन होते हैं कोई भी बीमारी हमारे बॉडी में वही insulin resistance and another inflammation. These are the two main causes of all possible diseases in the body, including cancer. And the root cause of all lifestyle diseases is really cancer. Because हमारे lifestyle से ये produce होता है insulin और inflammation. And that's why we call it a lifestyle disease. इस तरीके से जीते हैं हमारा जीवन उसके कारण इंसुलिन रेजिस्टेंस होता है और इन्फ्लेमेशन होता है और ये हमें कम करना है. Paraben, I showed with the slide, hereditary toxicity that causes inflammation. That causes insulin resistance also in its own way by blocking the insulin there. That's why I call them endocrine disruptors. They disrupt all the hormones in our body. So they disrupt the insulin also. जो मेन 5 बातों की चीज़ें जो हमारे लाइफस्टाइल में रखती है वो डाइट एक्सरसाइज स्लीप स्ट्रेस ड्रग्स राइट दीज आर सो मेन इट्स इन द वे वी लिव नाउ सो लेट्स टॉक वन बाय वन दैट दोस क्वेश्चंस आर वो पूछते व्हाट कोई nobody asked spend कोई what could and in a big actually real food जो खाना खराब होता है वही रियल फूड है जो खाना खराब नहीं होता वी कुड पट लॉट्स ऑफ प्रिजर्वेटिव्स insecticides pesticide तो फूड विच हैज गॉट शेल्फ लाइफ इज डेंजरस इट्स तो अगर आपको रियल फूड चाहिए ही अपने नाना नाना दादा दादी से पूछो तो वो क्या खाना खाते बिकॉज देयर वर नो रेफ्रिजरेटर्स इन दोस डेज everything was fresh so that is the real food try to eat that real food as much as possible. शुगर ये मेन कंप्लीट तो शुगर ही है सॉल्ट का बहुत कॉन्ट्रोवर्सी है सो यू शुड नॉट बॉर्डर टू मच ओवर सॉल्ट ब्लैक टी ब्लैक कॉफी रेडी वेर यू आर हंग्री लास्ट सी के ये भी हमारे पास बहुत सारे philosophers are available who can talk hours together on this but simplified I feel it is one of the best. It prevents you from infections. It's an anti-cancer. It helps in so many ways. Now what to eat? No calorie count करते. Oh, that's a very wrong way of doing. We don't have to count calories because calorie intake is not equal to calorie out. जैसा मैंने बताया कुछ कैलोरीज ऐसी है जो हम खाते हैं वो हमारे पावर हाउस को ही ब्लॉक कर देता है जब पावर हाउस ब्लॉक हो गया तो वो यूज ही नहीं हो हमारे कैलोरी ये सीधा फैट में कन्वर्ट स्टोरेज में चला जाएगा हम फैक्ट्री बंद है तो अब क्या करें स्टोरेज में रखना पड़ेगा सामान ऑल कैलोरीज आर सेम ऑलमोस्ट सेम देयर इज नो डिफरेंस कैलोरीज कमिंग फ्रॉम कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स प्रोटीन्स एंड फैट्स are slightly different. There are good carbohydrates, bad carbohydrates, good fat, good protein, bad protein. You don't need to go into that details, but try to eat low carbohydrate diet as much as possible. And nowadays we talk only of low carbohydrate diets. In fact, many other diets have high fat and high protein, like the keto diet or Atkins diet. They say you don't eat carbohydrate, 0 carb, and eat only protein, but that's not possible for a vegetarian person. Makes sense. So main place is carbohydrates and everything we eat goes to the liver. तो कार्बोहाइड्रेट का लिवर पे और क्योर आता है और ग्लूकोज इज द मेन सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी इन आवर बॉडी प्रोटीन्स आर हेल्प्स अस टू बिल्ड आवर मसल्स एंड एवरीथिंग एंड फैट हेल्प्स अस टू मेंटेन आवर बॉडी इंटीग्रिटी सो एवरीथिंग इज इंपॉर्टेंट एक्चुअली why carbohydrates because it is abundant in every food all you can are vegetarians it stimulates insulin means energy production and energy storage hormone and glucose is the main unit and it's metabolized in all parts of body ग्लूकोज हमारे पूरे शरीर में एनर्जी के लिए आता है ब्रेन रिक्वायर्ड मोर देन हार्ट दैट्स व्हाई देयर इज अ ग्लूकोज प्रॉब्लम हाइपोग्लाइसीमिया होता है लोग ब्रेन को अफेक्ट करता है हार्ट सुन होता है और एनर्जी स्टोरेज होता है जब कभी भी हमारा शरीर में ग्लूकोज ज़्यादा हो गया तो इंसुलिन भी कन्वर्ट एक्सेस ऑफ ग्लूकोज इनटू फैट स्ट्रेट वो storage organ का ही hormone है. So that's why the more you eat, the more insulin may convert everything into fat. And we can substitute fat as a source of energy when we eat very rapid, very quick. Don't want to go into too much detail, but actually, the glucose is reasonably okay if you can have. These are all dangerous. Fructose is very dangerous. Recall, you all know, our word used to insulin resistance, as I said, and end products of fructose. We all got this. Similarly with the fat, seed oils are very high fat. So all this soybean, sunflower, saffron, common.
कौन सा ऑयल खाना चाहिए?
ये नहीं खाना चाहिए.
इसके
मैं वो बता सकता हूँ जो बचा होता हूँ. It's easier to remember what not to eat. जो बचा होता है. Now you see this gives a vegetable oil CEP back. ये avoid करना है. See, groundnut oil you can add. You can. These are all seed oils. Rice bran, grape seeds. ये नहीं खाना है. ये olive, palm, coconut, groundnut oil. But remember that it should not be too much of refined and processed. Refining और processing में oxidative process होता है, जिसके कारण वो तेल साफ दिखता है. But that is the worst thing because that causes peroxidation of the oil and that converts everything into the bad oil, bad fats. So that may eat natural foods as much as possible. Food that gets spoiled doesn't need refrigeration, as is the best food. Because जो फूड खराब होता है वो असली फूड है, उसमें कोई प्रिजर्वेटिव इंसेक्टिसाइड्स कुछ नहीं. अभी एवरेस्ट मसाले में they were stabilizing it with jitinate dioxide and ethylene was found in the masala because it to have a shelf life. So any food which has a shelf life will have preservatives as well as insect pesticides. So highly processed food, refined food, cold drinks, sodas, bakery products, labeled food which has high in added sugar. Added sugar means fructose oils.
तो फूड सा सुन लो तो फिर
You come just see. I cup next story. Pizza, burger, see sorry through the but labeled food either poisoning or sick. Actually, this is the big. You're doing injustice to your children. You think you're looking after your child, but I think you're giving poison to your children by this label food. You have to teach your child how to read the label of a food which he is eating. So you must teach your children to look at this. Added sugar, jahan that emulsifier. Ice cream is total emulsifier. You should stop eating ice cream. Because ice cream is like a detergent, surf detergent also. Would you like to eat surf? Ice cream is same as written. उसमें भी emulsifiers ही होते हैं. Emulsifier is something which mixes water and oil together. Every ice cream, you can't make an ice cream without an emulsifier. सब यहाँ पे भी emulsifier यूज होता है. So सब data है. To choose the food after checking the labels and teach your children to check the labels. These are the common list our children are eating. None of them is good for his health. None of them, not a single one. All of these have fructose, emulsifiers, gluten, boiled food, preservatives, sweetness. अगर आपको नहीं समझता आपको गूगल करके देख लो कि उसके कंटेंट सेफ है या नहीं है. 90% of the time Google will tell you they are harmful to your body. So teach your children that in added sugar in one small bottle. Our body cannot handle more than 5%. So you are in one body, if you are eating, drinking this every day, you can imagine what can happen to your body. Our body cannot handle more than 5%. You are having 40% in one 250 ml bottle. Similarly, jam bottle, almost 66 grams of added sugar. This is a very high percentage. सारे food toxic है हमारे body के लिए, and that doesn't occur in one day. It will take 5 to 10 years, and then it will become irreversible. You can't go back. So that's what I'm warning, that if you're going to take this, see that you calculate, दिन में सवेरे ये खा लिया, oatmeal खा लिया, corn flakes ले लिया, फिर दोपहर को biscuits खा लिए, चाय के साथ biscuits खा लिए. Overall, you may be taking more than 100 grams of fructose in a day and sugar. एक चम्मच आप डालते हो चाय में, 50% is glucose and 50% is fructose. So out of that 10 grams, what you put, 1 teaspoon is around 10 grams. 5 grams are fructose. That fructose is like alcohol. It's so. It is only a name change. Fructose is same as alcohol. So remember this. Get it into your head. Next way. Same way, milk, chocolate, candy. 34%. So you learn to look at the label. Teach your child to see the label. Eat as much less as possible. Whenever there is an added sugar in that, Horlicks, malted ahead. Malt gets converted to purine to uric acid and causes gout, arthritis and what else. So you need to be very careful what you give your child. You give today so much of Horlicks. 15 years from today, he will have a joining coffin. So, ये cookies. I ate this cookie yesterday. That's why I brought a picture of why I ate it. I just wanted to know what my sugar spikes. It's unbelievable. Just I ate one cookie of this, my sugar went to 176. I am not a diabetic. Within 20 minutes, it went to 176. So I could run for 10 minutes to get it down back to normal. So just one cookie. It's not even filling, and it raises hell of sugar. Next slide. Fruit juices. Your question is answered here. Your question is answered here. Fruit versus fruit juices. Fruit juices are concentrated fructose. Our liver can't handle this. That's why we have non-alcoholic fatty livers. Fruits are fructose, but they also have flavonoids, fibers and some chemicals which prevents absorption of fructose. But that does not give you a right to eat more fruits. The saying goes that 1 apple a day keep the doctor away, right? But 5 apples a day, for doctor you pay. Okay, so don't eat more than 1 fruit in a day. That's the limit, because there's so much of fructose in them. Moreover, all these vegetables and fruits are genetically manipulated nowadays. The original apple is not existing. Adani has changed all the apples varieties. Whatever farms he has in Himachal, to improve the yield, they use lot of chemicals, genetically manipulated, where the nutritional value of the food goes down and fructose increases. That's the reason. Body is basically designed for fasting and feasting. Because in olden days, in the era of Ice Age or hunter-gatherer, they would eat only when they feel hungry. Then they would get out of their caves, go and to the food, and then eat to their heart's content. And then they would again go back to sleep or whatever. They will not eat. Even an animal, if you try to feed him when he's not hungry, he will not eat. So, but humans are the only ones who eat even when they are not hungry. He comes to them. So, this is the most important question. When to eat? So, you're frequent now. What to eat? You can't eat everything. Because everything has a problem. So, what we do is, we try to change the frequency of eating. And that matters most. So, either you have a time restricted feeding, you go for start with a 1680 hours of fasting, means you fast for 16 hours. You have a window of 4 hours, 5 hours for eating. Like I have eaten last night, since then I have not taken anything. But that's my routine. So, this is also another good way, 2 meals a day. So, start here. If you want to lose weight and keep it constant, the younger people can do this 2 meals a day. And if you want to lose weight, then we can do 1 meal a day. And some people, अपना इंडिया में अच्छा है, बहुत सारे धर्म है और हम धर्म में फास्टिंग है. तो भगवान के नाम पे आप हफ्ते में 1 या 2 बार फास्टिंग कर लो. That will be good. That will help you to reduce your weight. जो भी कुछ भी खाना है हमें, वो 60 मिनट्स के अंदर ही खाना है. ये लिमिट है उसका. If you are taking 2 meals, then it is 2 meals and within a window of 60, because 60 minutes इसलिए रखा गया है कि जो ग्लूकोज हम स्पाइक आता है उस समय इंसुलिन का भी स्पाइक आता है एंड दैट इंसुलिन स्पाइक वी नो ऑन मैनी you want only 1 or 2 insulin spikes in a day. So whatever you want to eat this. So whatever insulin needs to come out, will come out at that time. So if you are hungry, eat this you can take as much as, because these are non-caloric. Secondly, they don't harm your body. Next thing. This is a big problem. Psychologically, we are not able to separate the two. Hunger or urge to eat हम separate ही नहीं कर पाते. Eat only when you are hungry. And how do you know that you are hungry? When you fast for 2 days. That's the only way to realize what is hunger. Otherwise, how you differentiate exercise? इसके बारे में भी बहुत सारे misconcepts है लोग. So, simple way is that don't use gifts. These are the simple exercises which doesn't need anything. You see? ये small errands take or walking. Wash your own vehicles. हेल्प योर स्पाउस, बर्तन मारना, कपड़े धोना, ये इससे बहुत अच्छी एक्सरसाइज है. और आजकल तो बड़े बड़े टेम्पल और मॉल है. डोंट कैरी योर पर्स व्हेन यू गो टू द मॉल, बट विंडो शॉपिंग तो कर ही सकते हैं. बड़े बड़े मॉल है, वॉकिंग आराम से हो जाता है 1 घंटे का. बट इट्स नॉट वन टाइम एक्सरसाइज विच इज इम्पोर्टेंट. वन टाइम में प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है कि आपका पावर हाउस उतने टाइम ही चलता है जितने टाइम आप एक्सरसाइज करते हो. But you need to keep your power productive at least 24/7. तो एक्सरसाइज अगर 1 घंटा कर दे तो 3-4 घंटे तक आपका पावर हाउस चलता है. फिर उसके बाद फिर वो स्लो डाउन है इसका, बिकॉज यू डोंट नीड दैट एनर्जी, तो स्टॉप प्रोड्यूसिंग. इट्स अ नेचुरल फिनोमेना. So what we do nowadays, it's routine exercise तो है. उसके साथ साथ जब कभी भी आप काम डे, when you sitting for 6-8 hours, you should every hour come out for 5 minutes and walk if you have a desk job. If you are staying in a building, say मैं 7th floor पे रहता हूँ, तो normally I get on at 5th floor and walk too slowly every day. Sometimes I walk all 7 stories, but if I'm too tired, but I never go by lift right up to the top. So if you are staying in a building, this is a very good exercise. And it will help you. You don't have to do early morning 5 बजे बच्चों को भी संभालना है, एक्सरसाइज में भी जाना है. It's a very difficult situation. So avoid all this. And this is called an intermittent exercise, which is nowadays we are changing the world. From exercise we have migrated to physical activity. So you should be physically active throughout the day to keep your powerhouses going. The exercise I feel is pranayama, which is good for your lungs because you do deep breathing exercise. Sleep is also one of the most important. Most of our people are having very abnormal sleep rhythm. So the diet is to sleep, have 7 to 8 hours minimum sleep. 5 hours and 6 hours in etiquette is on number. Don't believe in that. You have to sleep for 7 to 8 hours. And if you don't get proper sleep, there is some problem with it. Get medical help. All these medications are safe. Take them if you have a sleep problem. But you must rest because your powerhouses need that much time to function. You need that much time for repair. So sleep hours is for repair. ये बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, स्ट्रेस. और स्ट्रेस से कॉर्टिसोल हार्मोन रिलीज होता है, उसमें हमारा विसरल फैट बढ़ता है. यूजुअली वहाँ द इम्पॉर्टेंट कॉज ऑफ विसरल फैट इज आवर बॉसेस बिकॉज दे गिव अस स्ट्रेस, टारगेट देते. राइट फॉर लव, relationship, health, teacher, career, family, all that. Next way. Again, पता कैसे चले कि आपको स्ट्रेस है? एक तो इरिटेबल बिहेवियर होता है, अनप्रोवोक्ड रिएक्शन हो जाते हैं, देन यू आर नॉट एबल टू स्लीप, यू पिक अप फाइट. नॉर्मली आपके फ्रेंड सबसे पहले आपको कहेंगे यार आजकल क्या हो गया तेरे को, सबको गालियाँ देता है, पुलिस को भी गाली देता है, ट्रैफिक सिग्नल ब्रेक करता है. You know that behavior is a bit abnormal. That is the first sign of stress. Most importantly, you should know that you are under stress. And then you should take all the precaution how to get over the stress. GI upset, acidity, gas, repeated cough and cold. All these are early signs of stress. Next slide. Stress busters, relaxation is the best. Whatever form you find, well relaxed. You can do that. Meditation, faith, yoga, pranayama. I don't know much about this. Faith, I would say yes. No matter which faith you follow it because faith is a good stress buster. Next thing. Relaxation does not mean that you should just sleep. It means change in activity, helping the family at home. And ये बहुत इंडिया में बहुत अच्छा है ये stress tester. We have almost every month 3 or 4 festivals. तो सारे फेस्टिवल आओ चाहे वो हिंदुओं को हो चाहे मुसलमान का हो चाहे क्रिश्चियन का हो चाहे जैन्स को सारे फेस्टिवल आप मनाएंगे तो आपका 70% स्ट्रेस तो वैसे ही चला तो दिस इज अ वेरी गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी ही इंडियंस हैव बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली कैन डू थिंग ड्रग्स हम ड्रग्स में सिर्फ ड्रग्स जो हम कहते हैं वैसा नहीं देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स शराब धूम्रपान नशीले पदार्थ दवाइयाँ ये सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है Ayurvedic, जड़ी बूटी Ayurvedic has got lot of heavy metals in that. So heavy metal poisonings and endocrine disruptors exist in use. If you take for long time, this time you happy. जड़ी बूटी में क्या होता है पता ही नहीं होता है. And people tend to get attracted toward this rather than the real medicine. So please avoid that. All of the diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, both these can be controlled, but they cannot be cured. Diabetes and high blood pressure cannot be detected unless we measure it. Most of the time, the person doesn't know that he has got diabetes or he has got high blood pressure. You have to continuously measure, get a blood pressure of 100, get a blood glucose monitor. In fact, I monitor almost 24 hours. I got a wearable. This monitors through my mobile. I get a full graph, second to second, how my glucose is being. So that, but it is expensive. I would not recommend. But it is a very useful device. When my sugar is more around after 90 and not hypoglycemic, why should I eat? I don't eat. So that gives me receipt. So you have to measure it regularly. Both are they are not curable. So you need to control your diabetes and high blood pressure. इम्यूनिटी पे भी बहुत सारा आया था कोविड के टाइम पे ये खाने से इम्यूनिटी बढ़ता है सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन है हाउ डू यू मेजर इम्यूनिटी देयर आर नो पैरामीटर्स इन दिस वर्ल्ड विच कैन मेजर इम्यूनिटी सो दैट यू कैन से पहले 10 था अभी 15 हो गए कोई पैरामीटर नहीं है हाउ डू यू से यार इम्यूनिटी इज इंक्रीज्ड बाय द फूड दैट्स एन एब्सर्ड थिंग टू से because no medicine or food can increase your immunity. Everybody is given the same amount of immunity by birth. What we do is we reduce that immunity with whatever factors I will discuss below above. Like number 7, those toxic plastics, they will reduce your immunity. Because power उसको jam करेगा तो बनेगा नहीं. So you have to see that you don't reduce your immunity by eating junk food. Vaccine is a weapon. So when you use is a way sea से invasion हुआ तो you use navy, air से हुआ तो you use air force. So the vaccine is like that. जहाँ पे जरूरियात है वहाँ पे वो weapons use होता है. Controlling temperature is also very important. Extremes of temperature can be harmful to the body. That's why people are worried about global warming. ये बता दिया मैंने ओके Hypothyroidism is quite common in young and they should always see that check your thyroid levels regularly because they also produce similar to lifestyle disease comments. You know, feel like eating, gaining weight, sleep disturbances, cholesterol rises, deteriorate and bull face, excessive tolerance is reduced, hair disturbances. So hypothyroidism is an important cause in all females.